Hi, this is Jolly Canna. Have you just overdosed on weed? Perhaps you have, and you don't know what to do. I'm going to give you some tips as a uh, long standing participant of soaring highs um, on how to navigate a THC overdose. Uh, and then also to let you know right now that a THC overdose is not like an overdose of opiates or other drugs. You know, if you were to die in a THC overdose, it wouldn't be from the THC and the weed. It would be from your reaction and causing your body to go into a shock state, like a panic attack, um, and something in that, like possible heart attack or um, other things that are brought on by stress that you can't, you know, because you're in a frightened, a very frightening uh, state of mind, and your endorphins are just raging with horribleness or whatever it is. Your biohormone releases are very hostile. Um, you can do several things that will bring you back, you know, but it's like the power of the mind, right? And having a real THC overdose and then overcoming it uh, really shows the power of the mind, and it not maybe how you think I'm thinking. So, um, while like I previously stated, like the possible ways to die from a THC overdose are not related to um, the actual THC itself. It's your reaction. Um, and number one, you know, the only way that THC can really kill somebody in an authentic overdose would be um, if I don't even think they've proven that yet. Uh, they had a test once in the '60s, but it was later, you know, realized that the chimps died of asphyxiation because they couldn't breathe because they were pumping them with a gas mask of just constant smoke for like minutes, and so they didn't die from the THC overdose. So, and this is like, wow, why are you being so redundant? Because if you're watching this and you're in a THC overdose, you might um, be forgetting time and be moving on to whatever is the next thing that's being said, and you're just kind of focusing on that, and you're like, oh my, like what can I do because I'm here. um, you can start with jumping in a shower. If you don't have, like, I'll start with the things you can do without having the counter, because there's a counter and it's federally legal and it's affordably priced. um, CBD, and I'll tell you some more about that later. But now I will tell you about ways that you can kind of calm your system down if you don't have CBD and you're in an overdose state, which, as previously stated, you're not going to physically die from it, and it would be purely based on your reactions and subsequent actions that would get you into a really unpleasant situation. So just sit there. If you can recognize 3 or 4 sounds around you, okay? Now, do you have a shower? Because jumping into a warm shower and then turning it cold and then going warm again and doing that a few times helps a bit. Now, you might be in hyper reactive fight or flight mode, and if you don't have a CBD pen or CBD gummies, then that's going to be a really difficult one. And generally, what they'll give you, they don't know yet, and they're not going to recognize my doctorate in cannabis or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That I gave myself because of my extensive smoking career as a proof of medical credentials or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or that I know anything about anything. But just from one raging, we used to call it chronic, to another. So you get CBD, like, do it. You know, you want to have a CBD pen if you're deciding to be a super stoner, you know, or you're even just deciding to try weed one time. You want to have a CBD, an organic CBD pen, preferably. I like Sunset Sherbet, but they have a lot of strains. I want ACDC, the real cut one, but it's really hard to get anywhere. So it might have genome morphed, or it morphed out somehow, and it no longer develops the same terpenes and other profiles. There are a few others that are related to ACDC, but it doesn't, you know, like worst to worst, just straight CBD helps. You know, you can get gummies, you can get CBD isolate. If you don't want a terpene interaction, some people are sensitive to terpenes, and they sell CBD isolate. It's a white powder. It's nothing like any white powder that you've come across before, probably. And it's neutral in terpenes, and you can mix it with water and sugar, and apple cider vinegar if you have, and you can mix that, and you can take that, and it'll kick you into a way more pleasant state of mind in usually less than 15 minutes, sometimes almost instantly. So the next thing you can do is, if you don't have the CBD, is you take water. You make sure that you're drinking water, and you do the sugar water. You know, even if you don't have a soda, or you don't have some kind of sugar water or sugar, sugar helps a little bit with like coming down or something like that, and maybe it like speeds up the metabolizing. I'm not sure, but that's like an ancient stoner secret. Was, or you know, to eat the sugar, you know, have some kind of sugar intake, and apparently that'll calm it a bit. But you're in a psychosis state, and your body's going crazy, and you need CBD, and you may not have CBD, and so the only thing that you can really do is get into a shower, or take a drink of water, and then lay on your side, sort of in the fetal position, with some nice music in the background and just close your eyes and breathe. And if you close your eyes and breathe long enough, you'll probably fall asleep, and then it'll all just be like calmed out. And so, because once you're overdosed, you've taken too much THC into your system, hyper anxiety and paranoia, you know, are all there, and you really need, like, you're thinking like, no, like I spent all this money on weed and now I'm gonna do CBD and it's gonna cancel it out and stuff, and it's like, it's not so much like that, you know. Don't think of it as one. You might even like doing both CBD and THC at the same time, kind of like you know, like the ultimate spliff, you know. But they these big CBD companies, they I don't know why they can't just give us a bunch of the real ACDC, the one that has that awesome Hindu, it was like an Afghan Kush kind of flavor, like the real AK or something like that. And it had that perfect no anxiety in the here and now with memory and stuff, and that cuts off most of, like, if you just start puffing on your pen like this, like, that will take away your anxiety and what's causing the majority of the feelings that you're probably feeling right now if you're overdosing on THC. But just to remind you that, you know, if you're overdosing on THC, you're not going to be in, like, oh no, like, I'm gonna die. You know, like, the only way that you can die from THC is if you you panic out and you have a weak heart, or you panic out and you make a poor decision, you know. So just stay cool, you know, like, look for a safe place to sit around you, and you have to wait it out, and hopefully you have some beverage, some water or something like that, or, you know, like, one of the best unknown things in a stoner's arsenal is water mixed with the grape Powerade, I think it is. Powerade, because the complex of what they have in it, the calcium, magnesium, potassium, and you mix that with water, and, like, you do it like in a jug, and you just keep the Powerade water mixture next to you, and you drink that, because dehydration can cause a lot of anxiety thoughts and unpleasant times. And so if you take the right water or the right beverage, it'll make it so that when you drink the water, a lot of the anxiety will go away. And if you're getting into the zone where you're starting to projectile vomit and you're on the ground or something like that, you know, like, projectile vomit first until you have, you know, or just throw up. It's usually better to throw up into the bathtub than, you know, because toilet bowls are sometimes harder. I know it's kind of a pain to clean afterwards, but, you know, it's a great reminder of just reinforcing that you gotta, that there are limits, and, you know, not everybody's Superman, but you can have a really amazing time, you know. And so, like, there's there's not much besides putting on some like really chill lofi beats, like some lofi jazz or something like that, or lofi hip hop, or classical music, ambiance music. um, really helps a lot. And then you lay on your side, and you breathe, and you try to focus on breathing through your nose, and reminding yourself about the sounds that you hear around you to ground you in and out. You know, that's a big one. Like I had a nice therapist who taught me that one. Uh, for He was a cannabis doctor. We'll call him Dr. Brown. You know, like the Bob Marley song, and like it was awesome. If I can remember to, like, I hear a fan, I hear an air conditioner. You know, what else do I hear right now? That helps, because it's not just physical um, suck, right? Like, you're going through more than just the physical feeling. And as long as it's just THC, like you ate a brownie or something, you ate an edible, and you ate too much of an edible, and now you feel like you're dying and you're terrified, just go and start throwing up. Mostly, a lot of people, their bodies have natural reactions, and when they start feeling too uncomfortable, they'll start purging. They'll just start throwing up to get whatever is in them out, and it's not really like a conscious thing. But don't fight throwing, because a lot of people, they fight throwing up, and you really want to get that out. Just get it out, because the longer it stays in you, the likelihood that you will go into a nice chill state is very not gonna happen usually. So just get it out. Drink a bunch of water, at least, or like Gatorades or some kind of electrolyte drink. Coconut water. A lot of people coughing can sometimes help, and you'll try and cough as hard as you can, like what you just heard, and then you can cough yourself into vomiting. But things like coughing, and then if you can fake laugh the right way, you can trick your body to give you a little bit of dopamine. And because you don't have CBD, and you needed CBD to really be, like, it's 2022, and I know a lot of people are still super not informed about cannabis, but and they don't know who to listen to. But if you have CBD, just in case you get too high, you get uncomfortable, like, that CBD will help that. And it's like, sadly, a cigarette. I personally hate cigarettes. They're obnoxious, especially when it's, you're somebody else who's not smoking a cigarette. But smoking a cigarette can help, because nicotine is very grounding, and will help to get your brain firing in the way that is closer to, a quality sober. You'll have a better chance of having access to long-term short-term memory. And just breathing, if you can just breathe, like that'll help you too. But you need sugar in your system to help knock you down, slash if you can get into water, like the shower is very soothing. A bath is very, something. Because everybody has their own capabilities, and you have to respect that being smart is knowing yourself to some degree. So like if you feel like you that might be a bad idea for you to take a bath, um, then lay in the fetal position in the shower with the warm water hitting you, or the cold water hitting you. I like warm, like a nice warm, like pee. You want to get like that comfortable warm. You don't want it to be like scalding hot. And just lay there and breathe, and that'll help a lot, actually. um, and sleeping, because you don't have CBD, and you need CBD in order to counteract the THC. And the next one is if you have, or I'll do another video that's right now, and I'm gonna cut it right now, and then I'm gonna do this other video about terpenes. And if you have taken your CBD and you're still feeling like, like I'm having a lot of unpleasant thoughts, and I'm still kind of panicking, but it's not as bad as it was, then you're probably having a terpene interaction, and a terpene interaction. I'll like elaborate more on another video, I think. But a terpene interaction is really awesome when it's the right terpenes for you. Or some people just can't handle terpenes, for whatever reason, and you have the CBD isolate. It'll give you like a nice neutral zone. Otherwise, terpenes can sometimes be people's undoing, and they just don't know that certain terpenes will react with them, and that they're that powerful on the mind for some people. And the terpene can really ruin a day, the wrong terp cocktail. And so like if you're making you want, like, there's like the gold ratio, which was like, I would say the classic working high gold bud, like Jordan of the Islands, champion cut Dutch treat, the real UK cheese, but not if you've smoked other strains. Only the real UK cheese if you're just smoking UK cheese. Okay, but Jordan of the Islands Dutch treat, the champion cut, that one will do. Hindu Kush, the real cut, bubblegum. There's a few strains, 91 Chem, and so the only time that you're going to come to a danger zone with their interactions is if you have other power strains. And if you have those other power strains, sometimes they'll just morph into something else that's more. It can either be more pleasurable, like good times, but it's way more high, or really gnarly and unpleasant. And like intensifying the bad times, because not every strain has the ability to overcome another strain's. That's why the pens are really good to have. Is like in your stoner bag, you have a pen of the right, like Banana OG or SFV OG, or you have the CBD, and I guess some of the CBD ones. This is a Sunset Sherbet CBD. It's not bad. It's not like the when I smoked the real Sunset Sherbet, but it's definitely not bad. And it helped just spawn me doing this video. Um, and I'll try to remember to like or do like a back-to-back video and cut. Um, and so you took too much um, edibles or something, and you're vomiting and you're terrified and you're panicking and stuff like that. But just sitting down, like it's really weird, you know. But some of the smartest people uh, will just sit. They'll, they'll look and clear all around them with the visual look that it's a safe place to sit. Like you're not sitting in the middle of the street or a sidewalk or something like that, you know. And you just sit down and you breathe. Um, it's there's not that many people who are, you know, because it's usually like fight or run or freeze. But you know, this is like a different kind of freeze because I don't know what you're experiencing, and sometimes eating too much edibles can be, you know, visual, like a cartoon, but you're just way too in the cartoon. And this might be your first time, or you're thinking about doing for the first time, eating it, and because people usually they don't listen to the doses, and they ate too much, and then they have a really bad time instead of a really good time. And you don't need to have that bad time to like validate your experience or something like that, because especially nowadays, because you can get these CBD pens. I won't tell you where I got this because they don't sponsor me or anything like that. Um, but there's a whole lot of companies. Or, maybe I will. I mean, uh, I mean, I don't think that anybody's. I don't know that anybody's gonna really watch this far. You know, because I would show you the brand, but it's that whole thing. You know, like they don't pay me, um, and I have to pay cash for their products, and now I'm giving them business, and they're not gonna give me anything, and it's just like, oh man, because this is like years of experience and stuff like that, you know, and life costs money. And I don't have a donation page, but oh, dang, you can. That's it. There you go. I haven't really tested their products out that much. There's another brand that I usually go with, but it's never been with the pens. I don't even know that the other brand has pens. You know, I just I buy their the Llama CBD or something like that, and you know, there's so many CBD people, and they won't tell us how they grow it. And if you got CBD and it's hydroponic or something like that, you're, you know, just you want sun grown soil CBD. It makes a difference when you're trying to counter your high because you did too much THC, and that's just what it is. You know, you're not going to get whatever it is in the hydroponic market. Like maybe there's some like unicorn out there who actually um, has figured out how to grow hydroponic so it has the flavor and the effect experience, and it lasts a long time and stuff, like good soil grown buds, but that are organic. But I mean, if that's all you have is hydro, like that's all you have. But there's so many people from Oregon and Washington and California that are just growing federally legal CBD. Um, it's amazing, and you can buy online. It'll ship to your door, federally legal, so you don't have to be all paranoid and stuff. And I roll my CBD sometimes with THC in a joint, and it's kind of like it's almost like smoking a spliff, which I know like a lot of Americans are like, oh, I want it pure, and they also want to drink their alcohol without, watering it down or anything like that. Um, and then like in Europe, they love spliffs, and it's just because a lot of people they do become like catatonic or whatever after smoking, and they can't really have a conversation the same as if they were smoking a spliff and they had the tobacco in their system. It makes like a really huge difference, because most weed is not really good happy times. Kind of like greenhouse seeds strains or and Cali Connection strains. Uh, some other dudes, a lot of the CSI Humboldt and Humboldt Seed Organization, the organization one, and there's definitely others, and they might have strains that are like that, or some other experience, but it's just, oh man, like most people aren't smoking that kind of stuff, and it's not really grown to like an insane level, but you can overdose on the generic THC, or too much Delta 9 with with the wrong terpene cocktail. So like the regular THC, the negligible one or whatever, when you see like it says 20 something percent, or like 30 something percent, like that is it plays a little bit into the effect and stuff like that, but it's not Delta 9, and Delta 9 is what affects like the long lastingness, and most people who grow cannabis, they don't really pull high numbers of Delta 9, um, and so like they don't have the same long lasting highs as if they did have high Delta 9. And but the majority of people are smoking stuff that has like these really high THC numbers, but the high effect is not the same. Like their Delta 9 is 100.5 or something. And that's why you're getting like a 2 hour high experience, and then you feel like you want to smoke, and now you're bored and stuff, instead of like 3 days of like, well, I mean, I could smoke, like only because I want to, because I enjoy smoking. But it's really, really sad to not have the right strains, and so many people didn't have, like, they either could get the cut and the strain, but they didn't know how to grow it properly, or they would just do bottle lines, or it was a plant that its whole life existed in a specific bottle line, and in that it has this effect in flavor zone and stuff, and otherwise it doesn't. But they won't, for whatever reason, ACDC, the real one, is so hard to get. Like if I had that and I was doing this video, it would be a bit different, I think, because I still feel like I'm disconnected from there's like some kind of barrier. It's not the same as the real ACDC, which makes me feel more like I'm in like authentic now conversation, where I can talk in the now and past, like about everything, and remember the context of the conversation and what was said just minutes ago, or right away, totally able to really have a real conversation in the now, or something like that. And there's a few other really good CBD strains from. I think I don't think that they're Llama Farms. They're like East Horn Collective or something like that. They do this Oregon bubblegum, 78 llamas and Canasu or something like that. They had a bunch of strains and they were all really good. And then for some reason they just didn't double down and grow those same ones again, or give us the ACDC. But they have some really good strains to mix with, or to have in case you do get too high, because like with whatever CBD you buy or the cartridges, if you're going to be awake long enough and you took that much, that's just way too much, it's possible to drift back into the funky zone, but it won't be as horrible as the first time. And it's just because you don't have a CBD that you didn't like eat that CBD, which will help it, in a lot of ways. I'm gonna make a short video, but if you're listening right now, like you have the pen, right? You have your CBD pen. You have gummies, and you have flour, and that should be like a standard in your go everywhere with you pack, just because you never know what you're gonna come across. And you want the pen for fast acting, like it really hits your brain pretty near instantly. And then you want the gummy because it has a lingering effect. And then you want the flower, in case you feel like smoking, and you want to smoke more or something like that. Then you just mix the flower with the CBD, or you mix your CBD flower with your regular ganja, and you smoke. It's pretty amazing. The other one is, if you're really needing, like the most instant way is to stick this thing right here in your nostril and hit the button and inhale it through your nose, and that'll give you the fastest acting, to get you out of the zone that you don't want to be in. But let me see what I remember to make the rest of the videos. Jolly Canna.